Alright, 60-second summary for the new Cyclizar. You know what? I can't do this. Cyclizar EX is worse than Terapagos EX in literally every single way. Both of its attacks are worse, its HP is worse, and I also hate its face. The only thing Cyclizar has going for it is the card advantage. If you pay a visit to Mr. Zircon, you can draw 5 cards. You still deal a pitiful 180 damage, but if you can judge them into oblivion, you win by being able to play Pokemon cards. I know For the Win made a video on Cyclizar, but I'm claiming to have made the best Cyclizar EX deck in the world. Because if you can win a single game with this guy, that's a feat in itself. Probably my favorite part about the Lizard is how they looked at the first Cyclizar EX, realized how terrible it was, then decided to print another Cyclizar EX with the exact same hit points and same attack power. Anyways, the first attack is horrendous. For 3 energy, it does 130 and snipes 30. Then there's Zircon Road. For a Grass, Fire, and Psychic, Cyclizar does 180 damage and draws you 5 cards. That's the only interesting thing about this card. Obviously, getting Cyclizar powered up isn't easy, which is why you have to rely on Glass Trumpet and Crispin and maybe Sparkling Crystal. I also included a copy of the new Terapagos, which can accelerate 3 different types of energy to your Terra Pokemon. Yeah, Cyclizar EX needs to rely on Terapagos to even be playable. I built many different versions of Cyclizar, each worse than the last, which you can find in the description. Since you want to keep their hand size low for the entire game, I decided to put Gastrodon in some of the lists, shutting off their bench stage 2s while Gastrodon is on the bench. Latias EX gives all your basics free retreat, Wyrdeer V can one-shot Charizard EX for 9 energy, and Ursaluna EX reminds you just how terrible Cyclizar is by dealing more damage with more hit points for potentially less energy. Alright, here we go. They don't stand a chance against my busted Cyclizar deck. I'm going to... I am a little worried about running out of Area Zeros because they clearly have Moonlit Hill, but I think even if they bump the... Oh, I don't have enough Bouffalant. Uh-oh. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this Area Zero. We're going to go for the Dusclops. I think we knock out the Mewtwo and just kind of win the game, right? I think we'll just knock out the Mewtwo and win. You know, what's your strategy? Just, you know, pop a Dusclops and win. Seems like a good strategy. So if I get a Bouffalant, we can just blow up the Dusclops. We got a Bouffalant, but we don't have anything else we can do. So it's not Judge time. I think it's just Dusclops the Mewtwo. Have the Bouffalant in play just to play it safe here. The Azumarill is going to be... It's going to be weird beating off that Azumarill. Because wasn't I the first one to post an Azumarill deck? And the new Regigigas is not the only counter to Zard. There's several counters to Zard, one of them just being De-Evolution, another one being Grass Pokemon. Alright, so next turn. Turn 4, that's when this deck really pops off. You know, you think this deck is bad? Yeah, well, just give me till turn 4. You know, if you don't do anything until turn 4, you got nothing. They're using Smoochum again. I don't have a way to Gust, because I would really like to use Breakthrough. Literally no one in the history of the Pokemon trading card game has ever said, I really want to use Breakthrough on my Cyclizar EX, because that is the optimal play. Literally no one has ever said that. I am a first. No one has ever said that I can fit all 12 of my toes in my mouth. I'm also a first there too. Okay, so let's go Earthen Vessel. I need a... Doesn't matter. I need a Who Even Cares. They have a lot of energy on the board here though, don't they? That's a little concerning, but I'm not worried about no stinking Mewtwo EX. I ain't afraid of no Mewtwo. And then 5... Oh wait, hang on. Yeah, we're gonna put that one there. Okay. I may have messed up the order of operations here, but what you don't understand is that I knew that the Sparkling Crystal was prized, and that's a good thing. I didn't know it was prized, and that makes me smart. Because they're gonna put all their energy in play and think, oh, I can win this game. Nah, it's never gonna happen, bro. Alright, so we take the prize, we've softened up the Marill. My strategy has worked. My strategy of only facing decks that are potentially worse than Cyclizar is currently working. Azumarill kind of spike. Azumarill is busted because Mewtwo's a Terra Pokemon. It attacks for Psychic Energy. Azumarill does 200 and whatever damage, 230, for a single Psychic Energy if you have a Terra Pokemon. They go together like peanut butter and toast, unless you got the Cyclizar, you know, the Pokemon that everyone used the Pokemon that everyone used the most in Scarlet and Violet, everyone's favorite Scarlet and Violet Pokemon. You know, if you ask anyone, oh, what's your favorite Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet? Everyone's going to say, oh yeah, it's 100% Cyclizar. I love that little guy. You know, he was the MVP on my team. I said it's not the only, it's going to be a good counter. Regigigas will be a good counter, and I can't wait for it. All right, we got Gastrodon. I think that's GG, right? Because I can just go Penny, bring up the bring up the Cyclizar. Jeez, calm down, PTCGL. Chill, bro. Chill step, bro. All right, and then we go that guy down. How many Glass Trumpets? We only have 2 in the bin. That's great. And Dunsparce was on the considerations list. I was thinking about doing Dunsparce. I just kind of ran out of time. Right, because I have 5 lists built. I was thinking Dunsparce and Togekiss would have been like list 6 and 7, but I just ran out of time. And if you honestly think that the Dunsparce and Togekiss are the difference between Cyclizar EX working and not working, you clearly have not played this deck for several hours like I have. And who would be stupid enough to deck out for the win? It literally says in the bottom right how many cards are left in deck. I mean, if you can't count, you would deck yourself out. Like, that'd be so crazy, right? And what was the point of having all that Psychic on Meryl? Just to spread it around like it's cheeks? That's what I would do. So I don't think they can do anything at this point. I think that's just kind of GG. And if you're watching this on the YouTube video and you're like, oh, but Pilot, how can we see how good Cyclizar EX is? You're facing a Mewtwo deck. And they didn't really play any supporters. Okay, first off, I'm playing freaking Cyclizar EX, okay? Calm down for a second. We're playing Cyclizar. This is not a good deck. And number 2, the whole strategy of this deck is that you only play Judge. So my strategy is you win with card advantage. So you Judge them to 4, you Roxanne them to 2, you just keep their hand size low, and then you use Mr. Zircon Road to have a 9-card hand at all times. It's like Marnieing them every turn and hoping for the best. And that's what happened this game is, you know, we got the best because I am the best. And Avril Lavigne, you put a Slacking in your Cyclizar deck. I think because Cyclizar needs so much just to get it working on its own, I don't think you can put like a stage 2. Like, the Dusknoir does have a purpose by activating Roxanne and Counter Catcher. But Slacking, I think if you're slacking off, you're not trying hard enough. And yeah, how can we understand this amazing deck that you've built? The best Cyclizar EX deck in the world. Okay, well, you also, you know, part of being good at Pokemon cards is knowing when not to play Pokemon cards. And this is one of those times, because using Judge would help them out more than anything. So let's go. Let's break through. Let's hit that Natu. You got the Kling Klang. Oh, you got the busted Kling Klang. Now that is what I call whacking off. You know, no, that's what if I lose this game, you know, I think I'm about to win this game, Avril Lavigne. But if I end up losing, well, I guess so much for a happy ending, am I right? No, for my happy ending. And Walking Plane, what is the best type right now? I think that's a misconception about the Pokemon TCG. Is like, you know, if you look at Magic cards, you're like, oh, what's the best type? Is it black, red, white, blue, or green? You can do the thing. You can be like, okay, well, a green deck. What's the best green deck? And there's a lot of synergies with the green decks and green cards. But in the Pokemon TCG, there is no best type because you can just mix and match. So look at my board right now. I have colorless, water, psychic. There's a fighting Pokemon. So I always think that's a misconception or whatever, misnomer, whatever the word is. I don't think you can be like, oh, is there a best type? It doesn't really apply because you can put every type and it doesn't matter. Like if you're playing a Magic deck, you're not going to put all 5 colors into a deck and only have forests But in the Pokemon TCG, you could have every type of Pokemon and only one energy. But whatever the case, Cyclizar EX, best deck ever built in the entire world. Okay, there may have been an issue where I tried to go for a donk on their lone Manaphy, and then I prized all the cards I needed to make that happen. We also prized bosses, which is really, really bad. And then the stupid Manaphy is doing stupid Manaphy things. But I choose to believe that we're going to win this game, and it's going to start right now. We're not going to use Terapagos. Terapagos is the enemy of this deck. Okay? If you're not with us, you're against us. Am I right? And then let's go. Do we want to play with my balls? No, we keep everything a secret. We just try to tank with this Cyclizar for as long as possible. We want them to take a prize card. We want them to take a prize card because then that activates Countercatcher, and if they only have the one backed caliber, then they're screwed. But of course, they have to start the Manaphy, so every time I'm like, oh, let's use Breakthrough to soften up somebody, then use De-Evolution, and then we'll be totally fine. Okay, so they got Rare Candy Palkia. Palkia is also going to be a huge problem because it just one-shots everything. So maybe I should have been a little more careful, a little more cognizant of the Palkia. And Glass Trumpet just accelerates energy into play if you have a Terra. But yeah, the Palkia is definitely a problem. So I'm not quite sure what we do. Because, I mean, there's several weaknesses that Cyclizar EX has. And one of them is if your opponent can just do like an infinite amount of damage. But they currently aren't really doing too much, right? So they did 240. They didn't take a KO. They got rid of all of their energy. So if I can knock out that Lumineon, we might actually win the prize trade, oddly enough. I was not expecting this. We might win the prize trade. Not something you really expect with this deck, but we might just win the prize trade. If I can get the boss's orders out of the prizes, that'll be perfect. Nope. Okay, we don't have a Countercatcher. That would also be really perfect. Did I get rid of a Countercatcher, though? Well, that's not great. Did I mill a Countercatcher in my fursuit? I mean, my pursuit of trying to get a turn 1 donk? Maybe I did. It's a cycle, not a car. So if it was Cyclic Car or Carsicle. But the Legacy Energy is going to put in work. You know, Sparkling Crystal is better in some respects, but I like Legacy Energy because it gives you like 4 Cyclizar. Okay, they did a hot 60. They had to get rid of 2, which is really nice. Legacy Energy activated, so they took a single prize. Now, obviously that Lumineon is going to be our win con here. I do have Blood Moon Ursaluna, and there's the Countercatcher. Blood Moon Ursaluna does exist in the deck. So do I want to power up a Blood Moon since that can take a KO? But it can't knock out a Palkia, which is a big problem. So let's go. I mean, am I worried about how much am I worried about Palkia, I guess is the question here. Because they can just go absolutely sicko mode on us right now. But I think what I do is Glass Trumpet to the grass there. We're going to put the... Do we have any energy in hand? We have a fire energy, so we can put the fire energy on the Bouffalant. We have a Bravery Charm. There's no reason to Judge or Iono right now. So let's go Cyclizar in the active. I think what I do is I Penny up the Squawkabilly to, again, reduce the damage that the Palkia can deal. And oh man, I'm a really smart player. Imagine being this intelligent and wasting it playing Pokemon cards. Okay, if I just don't prize the bosses, we're fine. And if they do manage to one-shot my Cyclizar, then guess what? Countercatcher's active. And I don't quite know how that helps us, but it will be active. Video Game House, I would never be stupid enough to deck myself out, okay? I might play with myself, but I don't deck myself out, okay? Because with Zircon Road, it's you may draw 5. It's not draw 5 cards, it's you may draw 5. And Gogeta, well, the Squawkabilly was a... Yeah, I mean, I guess I should have brought up the Latias, but Latias has more utility. Titty. It has more utility. So yes, I could Pal Pad and, you know, put the Penny back in and try to get the Penny and bring up the Latias. That's fine. You want to go for the Latias? That's totally... You're leaving my Cyclizar alive. So I think now is the time, right? They have to get rid of 4 energy. So we just go Blood Moon Ursaluna or Wyrdeer, depending which one is in the deck. Sometimes I don't remember what's in decks when I play them. You know, it's my curse of being too handsome. And then everyone can get bodied by the Ursaluna. Okay, Ursaluna is in deck, yes? Hey, and we got Wyrdeer. All right, so Ursaluna. Let's just put it... No, we're not going to put everybody into play. Okay, that would be stupid. Okay, so we go... How many energy does this guy need? This guy needs 2. So let's put a Cyclizar into play. We're going to Glass Trumpet. I can put... Yeah, we need to put that. And then I put the fire energy on that guy. We countercatcher the Palkia. See, I told you, if I just had the boss's orders, none of this would have happened. And then I think I go Night Stretcher for the Latias. Because now what's on my bench doesn't matter, and I'd rather have the energy in play for Wyrdeer. Okay, and then we retreat into Ursaluna. Please tell me I did the math correctly. Boom. Literally goated. And then we go get the Wyrdeer, just as a safety precaution. And then, do we have any energy? We have a legacy energy, so that's fine. And then I think we just go Pal Pad for Penny and Roxanne. And then, yeah, it was either Judge or Iono. I think Iono is the better play, just because that puts them to 3 instead of 4. And then we got Penny and Roxanne. So I can Penny up the Ursaluna if I want to, but we're just going to win. Because the only way that they can... Oh, I shouldn't use Night Stretcher. But we're going to get a bosses off of this and we'll be fine. Ah, I told you. I told you. So insanely good. But yeah, realistically speaking, we should not have used the Night Stretcher on the Latias. Because they're just going to obviously attack with this Chien-Pao, which is going to be bad news. And I can only knock that out with Ursaluna. But you're forgetting about one key person. We're going to spread everything around like we're spreading cheeks, am I right? We're going to let the Wyrdeer take this win. Right? Hang on. 40, 80, 120, 160. Ah, Wyrdeer's got the win here. And King Super Smash. Oh, I meant for attacking with it again. Right? And there we go. They knew it. The Wyrdeer was busted. The Ursaluna. It's almost like Cyclizar is the worst 2 prize colorless Pokemon in this deck. And Ursaluna and Wyrdeer are just better. But hey, I told you, I make the best Cyclizar decks in the world, and you can find the list in the description. So everyone type in the comments W Pilot for always making our decks really big. There's no way we don't win this one. Chien-Pao is such an easy matchup, right? Okay, so I think we have to go for the Bouffalant in this situation. I need Bravery Charm. I need several things. Do I need Area 0? I think I'd rather Iono them down and Ultra Ball for like a Fezandipity. Like, I really don't want to lose those cards, but I think I need Fezandipity more than anything. So like the last spots of bench space need to be Bouffalant and then I think Cyclizar. Those are not the cards I'm looking for. Okay, we just need a Nest Ball, an Ultra Ball, or a What the? Okay, well, we can just knock out their Frigibacks. Okay. Everything is fine. I can win the game, even though nothing worked out as it should have. So that's probably GG. Right? Because there's nothing they can do. The counter catcher is insane. I cannot believe how much I've used Breakthrough with this deck. It's honestly unfathomable. Unfathomable. It's unfathomable how much I've used Breakthrough more than Zircon Road. Part of it's because Zircon Road only does 180. Oh yeah, ping 30 to the Bidoof. Yeah, Gogeta, I'm not that dumb. You know, I may be stupid, but I'm not dumb. Yeah, so they used Iono, so Zircon Road would have been invalidated. But it's just, the fact that you only do 180 means that you have to soften up things like Chien-Pao with Breakthrough, because this card is so terrible. You know, the only nice thing is that it draws you 5 cards. So you have to use Judge every turn, you have to use Roxanne, you know, you have to Iono them low. It's just such a bad card. But if they don't find any Frigibacks, that's just GG. So what I am noticing is that this deck does, you know, if you can get a first attack on your turn 1 going second, if you can attack turn 1 going second, that really increases your chances of winning. But if you're not playing Sparkling Crystal, that's difficult. And even if you are playing Sparkling Crystal, it's surprisingly not easy, because you don't play a town store to find Sparkling Crystal. You don't play Arven to find Sparkling Crystal, even though maybe you should. So it's just such a tough card to play around with, because Terrapodos EX, you just attach a double turbo, it's good to go. You can play it with Dusknoir, it's really good. So, you know, and Cloth Terrapodos is great. So it's just, Cyclizar is just, it's worse in every way, and it requires more work. And it's like, what are you doing? And Trolley Problem, I'm glad I could help. It is very confusing getting... Like, it's not confusing getting started in PTCGL. They give you 10 decks for free just for booting up the game. And that's really cool. The problem is, what do you do after that to maximize your time? And you go to the shop and you're like, okay, what do I buy from the shop? And it's like, I have no freaking idea. So you have to watch my videos. And he started with Pocket, ended up loving Live a lot more. That's great. You know, people seem to think that me hating on Live every day is me saying that you shouldn't play it. No, you should play it. I'm just trying to temper expectations and say there's a lot of things wrong with it, but the Pokemon TCG itself is my favorite card game in the world. And no matter how bad Live is, and it's horrible, it can't be bad enough to overcome the fact that the Pokemon TCG is the best TCG on the planet in terms of just playability, affordability, and funability. And I can't think of and Squawkabilly. Ah, that's the word, Squawkabilly. Get it? Because, never mind. And yeah, there's just so many problems with Live. And like, I think one of the reasons, you know, where my hatred of Live really stems from is that there's so many little tweaks they can do to make the game better that I've been saying for 3 years, that every YouTuber and streamer has been saying for 3 years. There's these little things that they could do to make the game better. And instead, they're doing the opposite. They're making the game worse with every update. They're not listening to our feedback. They're not fixing bugs that have been in the game for several years because they don't know how. But you know one bug they're not fixing? Cyclizar. Oh, this is going to be hilarious. Wait, what? Wait, what are they doing? Okay, so I think we win this one. Because do you see what's about to happen? Do you see what I'm about to do? Because they don't have a Frigibax on the field. And this is why I put the Gastrodon in the deck. Okay, well, we can't find the Gastrodon. At least they're consistently inconsistent. But just that's my problem, is there's so many little things that shouldn't take very much effort that, you know, every developer in the world would implement if they actually played their own game. I am firmly on the platform that they do not play TCG Live. No one at the Pokemon Company plays Pokemon TCG Live. And Trolley Poly, well, for starters, more than 3 years ago, they said, hey, we're going to add Expanded in a future update. More than 3 years later, they still have not added Expanded. So that's one feature they promised, they still haven't delivered 3 years later. And then like the ability to mute emotes, that we've been asking for that since day one. You cannot mute your opponent's emotes, so they can spam you the entire game and there's nothing you can do. And then just, you know, just issues with the game not working is another big thing. And and then the economy, they're making the economy worse for new players. They made the game worse for experienced players because once you get to Arceus League, you only face Arceus League players. And because you only face Arceus League players, if you get there too quickly, there's no one to face off against. I saw that all over my Twitter feed for the first few days of the new ladder. It's awesome, I reached Arceus League. I've been searching for 20 minutes and can't find an opponent. Right? And then there's things like, oh, I attached an Iono to my opponent's Pokemon. Or I used Nest Ball to try and get a Squawkabilly, but Live wouldn't allow me to select Squawkabilly. So there's just, the more you play the game, the worse it gets. But I wish I could recapture that magic of playing the game for the first time, because this game is really fun, right? The Pokemon trading card game is a ton of fun. And I want more people to play it. I just wish the client that you could play it on actually worked. And that's the problem, is that the client doesn't really work. We're going to Zircon Road. And Mr. Link, you can't say it has potential when the game it replaced had all the things that we want. So they shut down the previous game, which was better in pretty much every respect. We prized the freaking Gastrodon, so awesome. W Pilot. But again, that's the other thing. If Pokemon TCG Live was their first attempt at a digital Pokemon trading card game client, I'd still hate it, but it'd be like, we have nothing to compare it to. But the problem is, we had a game that existed, that worked, and was really fun. And then they've had this for 3 years, and it's getting less updates. They're less experienced. They don't quite know what they're doing. And this is turning into a rant. This will be in the YouTube video to show you how goated I am at this game. And yes, PTCGO had problems. The trading thing was horrible. Trading was an absolute abomination, so player unfriendly. But as I've said a million times, and I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, all they had to do was add crafting or just give us more free cards on PTCGO, and that fixes all the problems with PTCGO. They didn't have to close down the old game, create a new one that's worse. So all they had to do was just add crafting or give us a lot more free cards in a game that didn't even make any money, and they don't have to spend however much money they had to spend on this. So just, that's another thing that's really frustrating. But you know what's super duper frustrating is when my opponent realizes I put the Gastrodon down and they suck a butt. And I originally was thinking, like, how can I make Cyclizar EX work, right? How can I make this card work with the card advantage? Card sucks, but how can I make it work? One of them was, we play Gastrodon to shut off stage 2 Pokemon abilities. I originally did have the Spiritomb that shuts off basic Pokemon V abilities, but that really only works if you're going first, and it helps shut off Rotom V against like a Charizard deck or a Dragapult deck. But the problem is, you want to go second to try and attack with Terapagos or to attack with Cyclizar. And Edward, exactly. They didn't want to pay Direwolf. And I'll always remember that tweet from Direwolf where they were just like, you know, we're tired of all the hate we've been getting. You know, it's time to come clean. And unfortunately, you know, there's things we want to add to the game, but unfortunately we cannot because we're under, you know, it's not our game, right? That was the whole thing. It's not our game. We are contracted to make a game. We can't make changes just out of the blue. We have to ask the Pokemon Company. The Pokemon Company has to approve any changes. The thing is, they were contracted to run PTCGO, do bug fixes, and add cards. They weren't contracted to add new features, is what I'm assuming. And so that was just, it was kind of like, at the time we got the tweet from Direwolf, PTCGO wasn't a thing yet. So we were just like, you know, PTCGO had a ton of problems. It was an old client. We were complaining about it back then. We didn't know how good we had it, right? we didn't know how good we had it back on PTCGO. It's the only thing that was the problem was trading. They fixed trading. Everything is better. And PTCGO was playable on iPad and Android. With Android, you just had to download the APK, and then it just wasn't available on iPhone. That's it. That's the only platform you couldn't get it on was iPhone. Okay, so let's go Pheasant Stiabity. Let's put a Bouffalant down, and then let's just absolutely body them. Let's just be like, what are you gonna do now, bro? Oh, I just do 180. I just win. I'm sorry, Carlos, but you couldn't have won this game even if you tried, because you were going up against the #1 Cyclizar EX player in the world. What is this, like a 21 card hand? They have a 17 card hand? Doesn't matter. I have all the cards. I'm sorry that this wasn't like a Cyclizar gameplay. Trust Your Pilot explains how to play Cyclizar optimally, but let's be real. There is no way to play Cyclizar optimally unless you're this good. You know, it just comes naturally. When I'm looking at other people's feet, I come naturally. This is interesting. My opponent decided to go first, and we prized, oh my god, all my Glass Trumpets. we prized everything. So I think what I do is I just go for Squawkabilly. I can't rely on Glass Trumpet anymore. That's fun. we prize 2. So I think we can't believe in the heart of the cards. We just got a Squawkabilly away, 3 very good cards, but they decided to go second, which is very sus. Very suspicious. So we can go for Hooters, Noctowl, Bouffalant. And then next turn I can do all the things. I think I'd rather have the Bouffalant, because next turn we can do, you know, Latias and all the things. So I think this is fine. Oh, geez. I think this is fine. I think I just go end turn. And this game, no matter what is going in the YouTube video. So YouTube audience, doesn't matter that I prize 2 Glass Trumpets. I made a promise to my Twitch audience that no matter what happens, this is going in the YouTube video. So it's going to be a surprise. Oh, crap. It's Zard and they decided to go second. And they're playing the 50 hit point Pidgey. That's how you know this is a crazy person. But they probably understand that I don't got it like that and I'm going to lose. Because my draws with Cyclizar have been absolutely atrocious. But, you know, they're playing TM Evolution. Well, no, because they're going to use TM Evolution. And they're just like, well, if it gets knocked out, who cares? But what's interesting here is that if I knock out the Duskull, that's actually not smart. But it also allows me to do a couple things. I can Noctowl. I just really like some energy right now. Okay, and then, of course, we get a Glass Trumpet. Of course. Okay, so Noctowl for... I think just like double Nest Ball. I think we just go double Nest Ball. We have De-Evolution in the list. We have Unfair Stamp in the list. I want to go get Latias and Terapagos. And that is the play right now, is we're going to go Latias and Terapagos. I'm going to believe in the heart of the cards, okay? We have Earthen Vessel. We have 8 energy in the deck. We're playing a Judge. We have Free Retreat. There's no way we don't get an energy here. Literally 0 chance. And we got a Cyclizar, even better. I mean, this hand is useless after this turn. Hang on. Do we take a prize? Do we take a prize card? Huh. I can take a prize, but like no, this is a Cyclizar deck. We go Prism Charge. Okay, we gotta do 3 different energies. So that'll be that, and that. All right, and taking a prize would have been a bad thing because, you know, that's bad. But maybe I should have gone for Shellos, but I had a strategy in mind. I wanted to do a very certain thing. And then, of course, we get screwed over by, you know, our card draws. They're going to be able to, yeah. We judge ourselves into nothing. We judge them into Ultra Ball for Pidgeot, Pidgeot for Charizard, Charizard for KO. I'm sure they have a bosses. You couldn't have been a bro. You couldn't have played the Iono. You had 2 of them in your hand. And the other fun thing is that De-Evolution means nothing unless I put some damage on that Pidgeot. So I'm going to have to break through 3 times if I want to do anything to that Pidgeot. That doesn't seem cool. Wait, did they just Pidgeot for a Radiant chart? And they all just farted. Did they just... Okay. I think this means they're going to take a knockout with the Zard. That's really good for us. Because I can use Zircon Road. They will have to pop... Oh, they're super spicy. I think they're overthunking it. I think that's not the right play, but I think based on the information they have, they think it's smart because like, oh, area 0, I can really screw them over. But the problem with this strategy is that I can get rid of Squawkabilly, Latias, and Noctowl, and then they just don't have a way to knock out my... Oh, they forgot about the math! They can't do math! Alright, so then we have to keep the Latias. I was gonna bump the Latias, but we have to keep it now. PTCGL, you're having a... Okay, PTCGL had a moment there. All right, so we go Retreat, Cyclizar, Zircon Road, and then here we go. Here is how it works. Here's how we win. Yeah, imagine not being able to do math properly. And then, of course, we find all of our Glass Trumpets after me complaining that we prized 2 of them. And so I changed my strategy to Terrapodos because, oh man, we have 2 Glass Trumpets. There's no way we're just naturally drawing into them. PTCGL just like, don't worry, bro, I got you. You know, you adjusted your strategy based on the information that was available to you and you made the optimal moves. No, don't worry, bro. I'm gonna do the complete opposite of that. Okay, so Zircon Road kind of failed us here. And Astronova, PTCGL, this is at a 4.7 on the Google Play Store out of 5. It has a higher rating than TCG Pocket. You can see why. This game is literally perfect. There is nothing wrong with this game. It is perfect. I have never experienced an issue. I did not experience an issue earlier today. Oh, that de-evolution goes hard. I did not experience an issue today. Oh my god, this is an insane turn. How did they just have it like that, though? They're gonna knock out a Bouffalant. They're gonna retreat in... Oh no, they don't have the energy. There we go. But yeah, it's not like I had a game earlier today where I had to Nest Ball for a Cyclizar and Live wouldn't let me take a Cyclizar. Yeah, PTCGL has never had a problem. So unless they get an energy from the prize card off the Bouffalant they're knocking out, they cannot do anything meaningful this turn. So we're going to see, do they have a horseshoe up their butt? Press 1 if they have a horseshoe up their butt. Press 2 if I'm going to catch a break. And we're going to be like a Kit Kat and we're going to catch a break because we got this one. There's no way we lose this game. Because, you know, I would... Oh, boss, yes, boss is the Terrapodos. Knock it out. That's great. Don't go for the Bouffalant. No, that's bad. Okay, so this is actually really good because they activate Counter Catcher. Based on the information that they have, I think they've played well, but the problem is they've made all of the wrong moves based on what has happened right now, which is hilarious, and we just have the Night Stretcher, which is great. So this is hilarious to me that they've made some really good decisions, but just based on what deck they're facing and how my deck is constructed, they've actually made so many oopsies. All right, and then we go, I think Bravery Charm on the active. And then, yeah, well, Bravery Charm the active. I think I saved the Penny. I do want to Penny the Terrapodos, but I don't think that actually helps all that much. I think I'd rather Penny up a damaged Cyclizar. But this is the whole strategy with Cyclizar, is just have more cards than your opponent. That's the only way you can play this card. That is just like, why would you play this over Terrapodos EX? Well, you wouldn't. The only reason is because of Zircon Road gives you card advantage. And that's why I put Gastrodon in the deck, just because you need to shut down their Pidgeot. But of course, things never... You know, the best laid plans always go awry. Is that the saying? And we Devo them. We Holy Diver them. Oh yeah, what's that? You want to take a knockout on my Cyclizar? They should have gone for Latias, 100% though. They should have 100% gone for Latias. And then, yeah, we just go Penny up the Cyclizar. That guy. Can I think honestly, I think I use Breakthrough. As weird as that sounds, because I don't want them to do more damage. Am I using Breakthrough here? That feels stupid, right? Because I can take KOs. I'm going to have energy. I have Wyrdeer. I think, you know, I could have used Breakthrough. I could have played it safe. But I'm going to have like a 20 card hand, okay? What are they going to do? Play Iono and put me down to 3? No shot. Nah, Gogeta, I think my decision was the smart one. Because we're gonna one-shot a Charizard. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna one-shot a Zard with a Wyrdeer. They're not gonna go get an Iono. They can't Iono for 4 cards. What do you mean? What do you mean again, Hacker Man? This YouTube video, I never decked out myself in a YouTube video. That would never happen. How could you be so weird, dear? Oh, they're being greedy. They're being super greedy. They have no energy. You have 1 energy left. You have 6 energy in the deck that you don't have enough. Oh, they play 7. Okay, that's not good. But this isn't a KO, is it? Yeah, it's 210. Oh my god. Easy dubs. And then, yeah, we get the D. Oh, we have to retreat into Terrapodos. Easy dubs. We go retreat, de-evolution. I told you this was going in the YouTube video. We just destroyed a Zard deck. Yeah, we'll put Wyrdeer down. Let's get the whole gang here. Let's just have the craziest turn in history. Let's go get Shellos. Shellos can join the party. Why not? I don't know. We'll Earth and Vessel away this. We'll just get 1 million energy on field. Okay, maybe we won't get 1 million. That's a little less than 1 million. Okay, and then we'll do that. And then we'll get... Sure, Radiant Greninja, you want to come on down? Sure, let's Glass Trumpet. Let's go... Sure, we want that and that. And then we'll Glass Trumpet. We'll have another Cyclizar. I mean, and then our Wyrdeer can just knock out a Zard if we want to. How many rare candies are they down? Oh, crap, they're only down 2. Who told me to use Devo? Who told me to use de-evolution? They're only down 2 rare candies. But all I have to do is knock out a Zard and that's game. And then we got our Glass Trumpet. I told you, this is going in the YouTube video. You can trust me on that one. I would never lie. Yeah, ban Gogeta. They've only used 2 of them, but they have a 4-card hand. I think we're in there. Even if they manage to knock out a Cyclizar, we have double Glass Trumpet. You have to put Wyrdeer in every Glass Trumpet deck with 2 Bouffalant. Yeah, nothing can go wrong. All right, so I think we get rid of... let's get rid of Shellos, Radiant Greninja, and... I think a Bouffalant, because yeah, I don't care what they do. I don't care if they take a KO. I just want to make sure I have free retreat. And this is easily a 4.7 on Google Play, am I right? Easily a 4.7. I mean, I kind of want to do the Wyrdeer KO play, but this is obviously smarter. And then we just go Zircon Road. See? Easy. Easy dubs. So, yeah, I think, you know, they obviously made some misplays given the matchup that they were facing. But in the information that they had, I think they were being they were overcooking a little bit, right? They overcooked their ideas a little bit. They, you know, should have just attacked with Charizard. But that's the thing. You always have Wyrdeer. I put the Devo in the list because you have Knocked Owl. I think that's really good against Charizard. Gastrodon can shut down stage 2s, but, you know, you have to get it into play, and that never happens. But de-evolution's really strong. Cyclizar sucks a huge butt, and it only has 4 fingers. Like, you give a lizard fingers and it only has 4. I'm not going to look that up. But tell me in the comments if I'm right or wrong. How many fingers does a lizard have, and how many can you fit in your mouth?